Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today, and thanks to Mitchell Starc for coming in and having a chat with you all this morning. We'll kick off with Rory Dollard.
Thank you. Hi, Mitchell.
Yeah.
Can you let us know how you're tracking physically? There was some suggestion that maybe it might be your turn for a rest this week. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I hope not. It's a pink ball game, so feeling good. Obviously, we've had a couple of days now to, get ready for the fifth test match. So we're training tonight, and hopefully it's not my turn to rest, but I'll be looking forward to this week no matter what.
Ben Horn.
Hey, Mitchell. Mate, I was just wondering, how you found it this summer working with Pat Cummins as your captain. I mean, I know you would have been well supported by your previous captains as well, but, have you felt a difference as a fast bowler to have a fast bowler as your captain?
Yeah, I think it has been slightly different. Obviously, Pat being a bowler himself, I think obviously us bowlers having that relationship as a group for a long time now probably plays its part as well. But to have Pat there now as captain and obviously, as you said, a bowler, I think the approach is slightly different. He's been fantastic through the series with ball in hand as well. But just how calm he's been around the group and how clear he's been with his messaging and his approach, I think has been fantastic as well. And obviously knowing what the bowling group is going through at the same time. So he's done a fantastic job so far. No doubt it'll be the same this week. And hopefully we can cap off a really good first series as for him as well as captain of this group going forward.
Andrew Ramsey.
Oh, hi, Mitch. I know it's only second week in January, but it's a fairly hectic year ahead, playing schedules, T20 World Cup, etc., etc. I just wondered whether you had any thoughts about IPL and availability for that this year.
It's taken a while for that question to come up. What's the date today? 12th. I've got 2 days to get my paperwork in, so there might be something I do today before training. I've not put my name down just yet, but I've got a couple more days to decide on that. So it's certainly on the table, regardless of what the schedule's got coming up. I haven't been for six years or so. So with obviously a heavy weighting towards T20s over the last period of time, and the World Cup coming up later this year. That's one to take into consideration as well.
Mel Farrell.
Hey, Mitch. Just, I guess, in following up from Andrew in a related way, I understand you've had a briefing about the Pakistan upcoming Pakistan tour, and I'm just wondering about what your reactions were to the briefing, what kind of information you got, and how you're feeling about that tour and the heavy load of subcontinent cricket that's coming up in the next sort of 15 months for yourself personally. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, it's obviously there's a bit going on with scheduling and whatnot to get our heads around with. Certainly with us multi-format players, the schedules are quite jam-packed when you throw in all the tours you mentioned there. Obviously, we've got a couple of white ball series post the Ashes before that Pakistan tour. Then you take into consideration the IPL, then a Sri Lankan tour after that. So it's a massive 6 months of cricket for everyone, but certainly for those multi-format players as well. So as you mentioned there, we had a bit of a briefing the other day about the upcoming tour. I think it'll take some time for all players to process that information, and then obviously we've got a test match this week to play and performing, and then we'll move on to what comes next.
Are you keen to go to Pakistan?
As I said, we'll obviously take in all information again. Any questions that need to be asked or want to be asked from the group. Our focus is heavily on this test match. It's the last test match of a great Ashes series. It's a test match in Hobart, which for us as an Australian team, we haven't played a test here since 2016. So it's exciting. It's an exciting week for the group. And then, as I said, we'll move on to the white ball series and Pakistan tours after that. So it's all about this week and the test match.
Thanks.
Rob Forsyth.
G'day, Mitch. There's been a fair bit of chat about the new selection approach under George Bailey. I was just wondering, as a fast bowler, how have you sort of found things this summer and the chats with selectors? Has it been any different? And particularly in the context of playing this next test, do you think, what will that sort of chat be like? And is it any different to what it's been like in previous years?
It's been pretty chilled, really. There hasn't been too much to speak of as yet. No doubt there'll be, I guess, a little bit of chat through the next couple of days with, I don't know really whether how I'm feeling or whatnot. But so far I can only speak on my experiences. It's been really easy and been really, really smooth and chilled with any chats that we've had with Bales or Tony throughout the series so far.
Brett Costello.
Hey, Mitch, just a local question, mate. How are you enjoying your time in Hobart so far? I noticed you guys got down to Lark yesterday. Enjoyable couple of days?
Yeah, it's been, when we finally did get here, took a while from Sydney with a few travelling logistic things. But, it's been nice to be down here. It was a lovely day yesterday. Weather was fantastic, and had a little look at Lark, which was great for a couple of us whiskey connoisseurs, if you like, led by Pat Cummins. But it was a nice afternoon yesterday, and obviously now we're moving to prep for the test match. So pending the weather, hopefully it's a good training session tonight, and then we look forward to the test match. And
do you know how Scott Boland is? Is he good to go?
I don't know. I think he went to the gym yesterday. No doubt he'll be at training and bowling today. He's a quiet character, but quite a resilient one. So no doubt he'll be looking forward to taking part in this test as well.
Jack Dobson.
G'day, Mitch. Thanks for your time. Just wanted to ask you about what the key factors have been in maintaining such a high level of chemistry and output amongst the bowlers, particularly with all the changes that you've had to face this series. And additionally, what has the influence of Scott Boland been like within the change rooms since joining the squad?
I guess I'll start on Scotty. He's pretty quiet, but he's been a fantastic force for Victoria for a long time, and to have the record that he does playing at the old MCG and at Junction Oval is fairly incredible. So he's just transitioned that into Test cricket really easily by the looks of things with how he's performed the last two tests. So he's been fantastic for the group. In terms of the bowling group as a whole, I think the relationships that we've all had for a number of years now probably makes it really easy for guys coming into the squad or into the playing 11 as a bowling unit anyway. Bowlers are generally pretty close on and off the field. So I think that obviously we've got fantastic depth at the minute, and we've seen the guys that have come in throughout this series in particular have come in and performed straight away. So whether that be those relationships that we've had for a while now, whether that's just clear messaging that we've got as a group, and certainly from Paddy as well as captain, it's just been fantastic to see, particularly from the bowlers, the guys that have come in. They've performed, as I said, and it's fantastic for them. Obviously, a couple of guys playing their first tests, and Jai coming back in as well and performing. And then I guess as an extended group, for the whole group, even things like Uzi coming back in and scoring double tons, I think it's been awesome for the group to see the whole group perform when needed.
Mel.
Mitch, just to sort of reinforce that first question, is there anything that would stop you from playing in the last test, whether it be injury or soreness or anything else that would get in your way, apart from selectors?
It's purely up to the selectors. I'm not looking for a break. It's the last test match of the Ashes series at home. It's the pink ball too. So, I'd very much like to play. I guess it's in the hands of the selectors, but I won't be asking for a rest.
And just in terms of the pink ball test, your record's phenomenal. Is it essentially the pink ball? Is it essentially the fact that it's played at night when the conditions are different, or is it a combination of the factors?
Good question. I think we saw in Adelaide the pink ball didn't swing much, if anything, anywhere near as much as we've probably seen in the past. So it's likely going to be very different here in Hobart again. I've not played with a pink ball here. I'm not sure if there's anyone in this group who's played with a pink ball in Hobart. Obviously, we'll have to have a look at the wicket and see what that's like. I guess there's a number of factors there. But I guess I've always maintained that. I've always found the pink ball to be more like a white ball than a red ball. So whether that comes into play with the way I approach my one-day cricket, I'm not sure. But certainly we'll be trying to carry on that plan of attack that we had in Adelaide with the pink ball, and hopefully that is a positive result for us here this week.
And does the pink ball make it harder during the day than the red ball, or is it much of a muchness during the day?
As a bowling group,
Yeah, as a bowler, yeah.
Again, I don't think it's overly consistent in terms of whether it's easier or harder. It obviously depends whether it's a new ball, old ball, where you're placed in the fixture, what the wicket's doing. I think there's still a number of factors that we all sort of. There's a notion of uncertainty of what it's going to do. So yeah, you sort of get that feeling as the game progresses and where you're placed and what the wicket's doing. But yeah, I think we'll be trying to take a bit of that blueprint from Adelaide and what we've done there for the last few years and bringing that there then into this week for hopefully a really good test match.
Thank you.
Ben Horn.
Mitch, obviously the Sydney test was a bit more of a struggle, but if you look back at the first 3 tests of this series, do you feel like it's been one of your best for your career? Like you touched on, the ball hadn't necessarily swung, but you were still really effective. That Adelaide test, you were the only senior bowler in the lineup, and you sort of took charge, and you've sort of taken those big wickets. Like, do you feel that this has been one of your best series?
I don't know. I haven't really reflected on it as yet. Obviously, we sit here into the last test and we're 3-0 up, but we'd like to obviously make that 4 this week. In terms of the series personally, I don't know. I probably tend to have a little bit of a reflection at the end of series, not through the middle of it. So I'm just happy to be playing my role and contributing to this group to put us into positions that are hopefully going to get us to a win. So yeah, it's been nice to contribute in that way, being there throughout the 4 tests as well, as one of the, I guess, senior fast bowlers, to work along with Paddy. But I think, as I mentioned before, through this morning, that the bowlers that have come into the group have performed from the get-go. They've played their role fantastically. Scotty's been sensational through Melbourne and Sydney. So yeah, it's just nice to play my part, and hopefully I can do that if I play again this week, and then we can sit back at the end and I can reflect personally, but certainly we can reflect as a group as well.
Just if I could, I just had a very left field question for you, and I might be taking you back to a place that you would have rather forgotten about. But did Novak Djokovic's issues in detention this week bring back any memories for you from that time when you had to do a round the world trip to get into England? Like, were you sort of feeling some of his pain?
No, mine wasn't because of a vaccine. So I got given the wrong information about a visa. So yeah, that's a long time ago now. But yeah, I guess I haven't really followed that one, so I can't comment too much on that. But yeah.
No worries. Cheers, mate.
John O'Bridge.
Cheers, Gold. Morning, Mitch. Thanks for joining us. You've kind of answered it in the last question to Ben, but I'm just wondering, you mentioned you had a fantastic series both with the ball and with the bat. Did only playing the one test in the 2019 series sting and motivate you a bit to have the series that you've had now, being the senior bowler and also contributing down the order with runs? And you've mentioned how important it is for you to be there for all 4 tests so far, and hopefully the 5th one coming up. Has the omission in 2019 spurred you on this series?
Not really. I guess I haven't really thought about the previous series. It would have been nice to play more, of course, but I think from the get-go we took in a squad mentality approach to that series, and ultimately we retained the Ashes through the series. So again, that was a group effort, much the same as it has been this series. If we want to compare those two, where we've had to, whether through force changes or COVID changes or whatnot, we've had a changing lineup and certainly a changing bowling attack. So I guess in this instance, I've been there for the first 4, and it's nice to, as I said, to contribute to put us in the where we're in a strong position. In terms of the 19 series, we were really clear with guys' roles through the series, and in that instance, Paddy was the constant there and playing 5 tests, and Josh was there for 4. So the conditions are completely different. That was in England. We're here in Australia, obviously, and I guess conditions might have dictated that or whatnot. But I guess to answer your question, I didn't really think too much about the 19 series coming into this one. It was more about the role I could play and how I could help the team get us into really good positions.
Cheers, Mitch. Good luck.
Thank you.
Alex Malcolm.
Quick one, Mitch, your batting is something that was just touched on. You've had a good series. Is there anything you've done technically, temperament-wise, mental skills-wise to work on that for this summer, or are you just finding some good touch?
Yeah, I haven't changed anything. Maybe hitting more balls. I'm not sure. Elisa has been laughing at me because she's seen I've been hitting a lot more and obviously spending a bit more time in the middle. So she's taken the mickey out of me there a bit with how much I've been batting at training. Whether that's paying off, I guess in a way it has been. I think our lower orders always take a lot of pride in being able to contribute with the bat. So, whether it's Nathan Lyon at 10, 11 or being Night Watchman or Josh Hazelwood coming and scoring a few at 11. And I think we all like to think we can contribute with the bat in some way. So for me, it's just been carrying on that, and whether Pat wants to now change the order with 8 and 9, we'll wait and see.
Have you had that discussion with him? And secondly, who is your batting? Do you have a particular batting mentor, coach, or do you work with one of the players in terms of discussing your plans and take?
We have sort of started that conversation about where we're both going to bat. We both want to bat 9, I think. So we'll wait and see. He's the captain after all. So we'll see how that pans out this week. In terms of my batting, it helps when my best mate or one of my best mates owns a cricket academy back in Sydney, and every now and again, well, not lately with COVID, but I've done a fair bit of work with him. Obviously, we've got Michael Divenuto with us at the moment, who's been fantastic. Did a lot of work with him when he was in his first stint as a batting coach, and then since he's come back, working with him and Andrew McDonald, and I guess getting a clear game plan. So technically, I haven't changed anything probably since the World Cup in 2019. Doing a little bit of work with Ricky Ponting, which seemed to have put me in some good positions as well. So yeah, it's more about just getting some time out and training in the middle, but having real clear plans with what I'm trying to achieve.
Rob Forsyth.
Hey, Mitch. Just a day-night test question. It's a fairly unique series of events that led to this becoming a pink ball test. As someone who's quite good with the pink ball, would you like to see in future summers that there are 2 day-night tests, or do you like the idea of Adelaide Oval being the sort of one-off, highlight fixture?
Yeah, it's a good question. Obviously, we've had summers gone by where we've had 2 pink ball fixtures. It wouldn't be a first time. Obviously, the first time for 2 in the one series. I think it's a good thing for the game. I just don't think we get carried away with it. There's still a big part of me that's that traditionalist, and yeah. So I don't have a clear answer for you there, but I think it's the pink ball test, and certainly the test around Adelaide has become a huge feature in the summer. I think it's a fantastic test match. It's a great advertisement for the game. I think the contest between bat and ball is generally pretty even because they know what they need to prepare in Adelaide for the pink ball. So hopefully it's a really good week here with the pink ball. Hopefully the Hobart faithful come out and watch the test match. Hopefully it's a fantastic fixture for them as well. In terms of how many pink ball games you play through a summer, I just hope we don't get too carried away with it. You still want to see plenty of red ball cricket, and obviously throw in the pink ball to complement that as well.
Andrew Wu.
Yeah, g'day, Mitch. Just after on the England batting lineup, after what they were able to achieve on the last day in Sydney, I mean, sort of what effect do you think that will have on their psyche? I mean, is it kind of like maybe their grand final last week to try and save the game, or do you think they'll kind of get a bit of confidence from being able to bat out a day?
No, you'd have to ask them. Yeah, they'll take a little bit of confidence out of it, I guess, in getting away with a draw. Obviously, a few guys there performed quite well for them through the test match. So, yeah, they might take a bit of confidence out of that. Obviously, again, different conditions here, different ball. Whether they change the makeup of their team, obviously, I think I've heard Joss has flown home, so that'll bring in at least one change. So, yeah, obviously, it would have been nice for us to win last week, but I think it was a fantastic spectacle for cricket. So, both teams will take plenty out of the test match, and hopefully we can have another fantastic one this week.
Did it sting at all, the fact you couldn't get the last wicket and come to Hobart 4 zip?
Obviously, rain played a part, and we lost a fair bit of time throughout the fixture. Probably didn't see the wicket deteriorate as much as we thought or would have hoped, I guess, for day 5 wicket. So yeah, it would have been really nice to take that wicket, but ultimately it was a fantastic game of cricket, and we still sit here 3-0 up. So hopefully this week we can make it 4.
Cheers. Thanks.
Braden Ingram.
Mitch, you touched before on the local delights and how you've enjoyed them, but are you noticing the excitement in town around this historic Ashes Test for Hobart and you know, people coming up to you and saying, you know, how about have you here? What's the vibe you're getting for being in Hobart?
I haven't spent too much time outside. We only got in here the day before last, and so yeah, I guess we'll probably have a better answer for you over the next couple of days around training and being around. But yeah, certainly it's a big week for Hobart and for Test match cricket down here. Having the Ashes Test is obviously going to be a big deal and a way to finish the series. So, as I said, hopefully it's a fantastic week, obviously for Hobart, but hopefully we can put on a show for the crowd and yeah, obviously finish with an Australian win would be fantastic.
I guess it's easy to say after, you know, you've dominated a series, the squad looks in great shape. But does it feel like in your time in the Test team, this is one of the stronger squads in terms of depth, particularly in the bowling, but also with Usman coming in, that this side hopefully now is set up for a number of years, the way it's travelling?
Yeah, I guess so. I can't say that we've all thought about too much moving forward. We've had a clear focus on what we've wanted to achieve this series, and it's going to be no different this week. We're still heavily focused on this Test match. So I guess you mentioned the depth there. We've got a lot of young talent. We've seen guys come in for their first Test matches, their second Test matches, their second and third series, and I think as a group we've had different people step up at different times, which is fantastic to see from a whole group. And guys who've come in have, as I said, performed straight away. So yeah, as a squad, I think that's really pleasing. We've put a lot of work into preparing for this series, preparing each week, and that's going to be no different this week. And as I said before, once the Ashes is finished and we can reflect on it as a group, I guess then we can perhaps think about series moving forward and whatnot. But at the moment, I think we're all staying pretty grounded and focused on this week.
Last couple, Brent Costello, and we'll finish off with Chris Rowbottom.
Mitch, what's your record like personally at Blunston? Is it a venue you like playing at?
Can't say I played too much here, to be honest. We played a Shield game last year, and then probably haven't played here since the 2016 Test before that. So I don't think it's a ground too many guys have played a lot of long format cricket on. You'd have to ask them. Personally, I haven't played a whole heap here. So yeah, it's going to be exciting to see how the week pans out. Obviously, it's a pink ball fixture, which I mentioned before. I don't think anyone in our group's played a pink ball game here. Perhaps maybe Scott Boland with Victoria. I'm not sure, but it'll be I guess an interesting couple of days in preparation, having a look at those conditions, seeing what it does through training here, and then we'll push on to the Test match.
Last one, guys. Chris Rowbottom.
Yeah, g'day, Mitch. Tim Payne obviously won't be in town for his hometown test, a test that he advocated for and fought hard to get. Do you have an insight as to how he's going at the moment, how he's feeling, and have you been in contact with Payne over the last few days?
No, I haven't as yet. Might have to see if he's around after the series for a lark or something. But yeah, no, obviously he's a big advocate, and as you mentioned, getting the Test match here. So hopefully Payne's doing well and his family doing well, and hopefully we can put a show on for him.
And just one last very quick one. Everyone's got an opinion on the makeup of the team, especially from the batting side of things. Have you got a particular preference? What would you like to see happen up the top? Should Marcus continue on opening, or would you like to see Travis Head come in, or Usman keep his place? What's your opinion?
I'm not a selector.
Fair enough. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, guys. Probably could have predicted that answer, guys. Thanks, everyone, for joining, and thanks to Mitch Starc for being so generous with his time this morning. We'll catch up with all you guys tomorrow.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Mitch. Thanks, Carl.
Cheers, Carl. Thanks, Mitch.